CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
A West Shore man who was originally charged with assault is now facing a charge of manslaughter instead. Greg Brotherston was originally facing a charge of aggravated assault after 57-year-old Rick Green was punched outside the Country Rose pub in Colwood. About a week after the attack, Green died. Brotherston has been in custody since his arrest. He is due in court to face what is now a manslaughter charge early next month. We are learning more about the way the disgraced financial advisor Ian Thao will be living one day after he was granted full parole. Corrections Canada says the details of Thao's release are protected under privacy laws, including where Thao will be living. Ian Thao has been in prison since March of 2010 for defrauding 20 of his clients out of $8 million. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison but has served only 2.5 years. A Supreme Court of Canada ruling allows him and others to be paroled sooner than expected. The victims we spoke to today did not want to appear on camera, but many tell CTV News that they feel Thao has ruined their lives, and they say they are outraged at his early release, which is deeply upsetting. The suicide of Amanda Todd has prompted an outpouring of support for her family and for other teens who have been the victims of bullies. Many of those messages are being posted online, the same place that Amanda was brutally bullied and where Vancouver Islanders have joined the effort.
The bullying needs to stop now.
Our partner, School FM, has gathered words of encouragement from people all over Greater Victoria to create a powerful anti-bullying video.
If you didn't participate in the video, I mean, that doesn't mean you still can't write your own message of support. Post it on our Facebook page, get the conversations going, and watch the video. And maybe it speaks to you, or you know someone that might want to see some of those messages. Share it with them on social networking. Repost it on your Facebook page. It's already received over 200 views, and that number just keeps going up. And so we're using social media, how it should be used: Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And hopefully, we're able to spread some love and support to people who might be needing it right now.
That video, if you'd like to see the whole thing, and you should take a look, is posted on our website at ctvvancouverisland.ca. Well, as the annual Poppy campaign is underway, veterans are being honored at Victoria City Hall. The Poppy flag was raised at noon sharp today. The annual ceremony honors those who have fought in the First and Second World Wars and other conflicts. The Royal Canadian Legion says it is important that we support the Poppy campaign to honor the people who fought for the freedom we enjoy.
We ought to remember where our freedoms come from, and and we live in a country, and that's the first thing people say. Besides the beauty of the country, but they say, I can go to school, I can move around, I can live here, I can work where I want. All the freedoms that we have. We have a monument down at the Parliament buildings, a guy holding a musket, saying, hey, freedom of speech. And there are a lot of people died for that. And I think it's worthy to keep that image alive in the minds and hearts of the people of Canada.
On behalf of their country.
Well put. The Victoria Poppy campaign hopes to raise more than $175,000 this year. And if you'd like to make a donation, you can do so on your smartphone. You can type Poppy into a text field and then hit 2222 to hit send. It will make a $5 donation to the Legion. Maybe he is waiting to check his numbers. If you haven't had a chance to grab your lotto ticket for tonight, you have just a couple of minutes to do so before you'll miss your chance at winning $50 million. CTV's Joe Perkins joins us now outside the Lotto Center at Douglas and Yates in downtown Victoria. Joe.
Hudson, we are minutes away from the cutoff. If you don't have your ticket, you are out of time. Don't be deceived by the sign. It says $50 million, but really it should say $100 million. There are an additional $51 million prizes up for grabs in this Lotto Max draw, the biggest apparently in BC history. We spoke to the people inside. They say tickets are up. They've sold nearly 100 tickets today. A lot of people getting them in the final minutes here. Tomorrow, we will let you know who wins the draw. The draw will be sometime after 9 o'clock our time tonight. And of course, if you're wondering, Hudson, there's the ticket. We'll pull it away. Can't see the numbers. Like I said, we'll have the winner. Hopefully somebody on Vancouver Island for you tomorrow night on CTV News at 6.
All right, we'll see if we have a winner. I don't think that's the winning ticket, by the way, Joe, because I think it might have already been purchased by somebody today. Well, the province is making a change to some of our liquor legislation after a high-profile fundraiser was denied a liquor license. Monday, we showed you how the province had stamped out Crush, a popular fundraiser for Victoria's Belfry Theatre, which involved an auction of privately donated wines. People were outraged about that, and today the BC government abolished the rule that stops charities from adding liquor to gift baskets at fundraising events. The only restriction is that the liquor must be commercially produced and cannot be consumed at the event. The law will be clarified by legislative changes later. The province says BC's liquor laws are being modernized because many have been around since Prohibition.
The law is one of those ones that even though we tried to reform liquor laws, was probably left in the legislation because it had another intention relative to protecting the taxpayer for the taxes that are due on liquor when it's sold in BC. But the language isn't clear enough to say whether it would apply. And so, you need to clear it up. Basically, we'll fix it.
Organizations that wish to fundraise using alcohol will still need to get a license from the liquor distribution branch until those legislative changes have been made official. BC Liberals have gathered in Whistler for their annual convention, trying to boost party morale and rally the troops for what they hope is a victory next May. Polls show that the NDP is gaining ground. Some pundits have gone so far as to predict Adrian Dix will be our next premier. The Liberals say they're not about to let that happen. CTV's Stephen Andrews covering the convention. He joins us from Whistler with more. Stephen.
Hudson, if Liberal delegates had any doubts they were going to lose the next election, they're certainly keeping those to themselves. And although the campaign hasn't officially begun, we're beginning to see a little bit of what their strategy is going to be. If there's one message the BC Liberals want party faithful to get, it's that Christy Clark can lead them to another victory. The party is using the two-day convention in Whistler to paint itself as a party of renewal, one willing to listen to all voices. The Liberals are on a desperate drive to entice disaffected Conservatives back into the fold.
We can win if we are all working together.
Former Reform Party leader Jack Weisgerber delivered a taped speech to delegates warning a vote split such as the one that happened in 1996 could keep the Liberals from power again next May.
Now, we have the lowest income taxes in the country here in British Columbia.
During an interview on CFAX 1070 this morning, the Premier dismissed polls showing the Liberals are behind. Clark believes she will be able to keep her job by campaigning on a platform of good government that creates opportunities for free enterprise. It's a message the party wants delegates to take back to their communities, and one Vancouver Island Liberals are willing to repeat.
Extremely confident. Just a lot of really good energy. Everyone's on the same team. Everyone's just like, let's go do what we got to do.
Are you surprised? I mean, obviously the Liberals behind in the polls. How much work do you think you need to do between now and May?
As Christy says, we don't listen to the polls that much. They're up and down. I think we just got to do what we do best, represent free enterprise, represent the interests of BC as we can do, and as we've done for the last decade, and move our program forward.
It may be a case of preaching to the converted, but Liberals hope the message will encourage more than their traditional supporters to line up behind them. In Hudson, of course, the convention continues tomorrow, where they're going to break off into a number of strategy sessions. Now, the media is not allowed into those, but it'll end with a barn-burning speech from the Premier herself, which will begin at 4 o'clock. Of course, that speech is designed to light a fire under all the Liberal supporters and the workers and get them ready for the election campaign in May. Hudson?
All right, Stephen Andrew tonight in Whistler. Stephen, thanks. Canada's aging naval fleet is being updated, and some of the new ships could come to CFB Esquimalt. The federal government is asking private companies to submit bids on contracts to help to design and manufacture new ships for the Royal Canadian Navy. Top brass will meet with interested companies in Quebec next month. The program is aiming to replace destroyers from the 1970s and the frigates that joined the fleet in the 1990s. Last year, the government announced that Irving Shipyards of Halifax would get the lion's share of $35 billion in shipbuilding contracts, but Seaspan of North Vancouver also netted a significant share of that project. Well, the pies were flying around the inn at Laurel Point today. Take a look.
Okay.
Nothing quite like a pie in the face, and the staff are tossing pies in their bosses' faces, raising money for the United Way and probably venting a little frustration too. For a $2 donation, they could chuck a pie from a distance of, for $2 it was from a distance. For $5, they got up close.
It feels wonderful. There's a lot of pent up over the years, and it's fun to do it in a good atmosphere where you know you're not going to get in trouble. We should have made them sign waivers saying they wouldn't hold it against us.
This is the first year we've done this one. Last year we raised over $9,000 for the United Way, and this is the first time, however, we've done this particular contest. So we'll see.
The pie tossing was a lot of fun, and it raised about $100 today. The Inn at Laurel Point will be holding a series of fundraisers for the United Way, and they hope to raise $15,000 for the campaign by the time they're done. More Labour trouble on Vancouver Island tonight. Workers at popular hotels in 2 cities are willing to walk off their jobs to get what they want. Staff at the Coast Bastion Inn in Nanaimo and the Victoria Coast Harbourside have voted in favour of strike action. 90% of the employees say they are ready to take action to back their contract demands. The coast workers say their workloads have increased, but wages, pensions and benefits have stayed the same. The Council of Canadians is hosting a conference in Nanaimo trying to sink the Northern Gateway Pipeline project. The council is on a tour called No Pipeline, No Tankers. The group says the pipeline from Alberta to BC's northwest coast puts our environment at risk, and it's trying to build an alliance to stop it.
We're worried about trade agreements where big corporations from other countries are getting new rights to our energy, to our mining, our minerals, and so on. We're worried, particularly in British Columbia, about what that's going to do. We believe they're building a carbon corridor to take the dirtiest oil on Earth from the tar sands through BC in pipelines to tankers to be taken overseas. They are massively fracking in the northeast of British Columbia. Most people don't know how bad that is and the damage that's taking place there.
The Council's annual general meeting will be held tomorrow in Nanaimo. The Qualicum Beach Golf Course is marking a major milestone with a good read. A local author has documented the history of the Qualicum Beach Memorial Golf Course for its upcoming 100th anniversary. Claude Buchanan was signing copies of the limited edition hard copy in the clubhouse today. He says the book shares the beauty of the green's unique setting.
The book actually began a couple of years ago, and what we wanted to do really was tell the story of this golf course and what it means to the town, how when the Brown family sold it to the town, it was a unique experience, and the town now owns the golf course. It leases the golf course to the club, and that way it's actually run by volunteers.
As many of us have discovered, a good read on a golf course is a good thing. For 100 years of golf at Qualicum Beach is for sale right now at the course's pro shop, at Chapters, and the Mulberry Bush bookstore. The Vancouver Island Military Museum is honoring a local war veteran. Jack Neal was a pilot in the Second World War, and he called Nanaimo home. The museum has honored him by giving his son an exact replica of a Spitfire that he flew in during the war. Neal joined the RCAF in 1940 and flew more than 300 combat missions and was shot down 3 times.
It must have been a nerve-wracking experience, but to fly 310, I believe it was, combat missions, that shows incredible courage and fortitude. He shot down close to 10 aircraft and damaged a number of other aircraft. So he was considered an ace, really, in the annals of warfare.
Neal died in Nanaimo in July 1993.